Okay, everybody okay with that? So, all right, we're gonna do a real quick meeting and today is May 16th, 2023. And I call the meeting to order. And did anybody, I posted like the minutes, did anybody get to read them? And they were from May or from March.
They were
So
yes.
nice. What, wasn't too involved there. So they were very easy to, so everybody approves that, well, the ones that read the minutes, you guys approve. I have a motion.
Yep.
One
I
and
make a
two.
motion.
Okay, Tiff, second.
I second. Amy.
Okay, Emily, thank you. And
Amy.
let's see, any discussions about the,
That was Amy D'Armilio.
well, Emily, for some reason hers lit up around me like she was talking. All right, sorry, Aim. But you guys have any discussion about the minutes that you, okay, so that's a yay or nay, and I'll approve, yay. Yeah, all right, and nobody, nope, okay. So, reading of the treasurer's report. Bethany, you have that, or?
I think Christy's doing it, and I hope so, because I just went to the dentist a little bit ago.
Okay.
I still can't.
Christy, you want to give that to us?
Yep. Hang on one second. I had it up. I got
Sure.
a whole bunch of stuff open. So I'll make sure I'm giving you the right one. All right. So the treasurer's report as of May 15th is $1,642.08. Out of that, though, we owe 54 still to the state
Okay.
for state dues. So after that, we would have $1,588.08.
Okay, cool. And that's from like from the retreat and members and stuff like that.
Yes. So
That's
we have
how we're-
$700 for the retreat right now.
Nice.
Club dues for this year is $140. And we had like $211 of sales. I think that comes from like t-shirts and some residual stuff that was deposited from conference or things that we've sold. So that's
Very
where
nice. Very nice.
What was the amount after the $54?
$1,588.08.
Okay, I'm taking notes.
Nice. I can't talk, but I can take notes. Bless your heart. That's an awful feeling. Okay, so do we have approval of the treasury? Everybody?
I approve the treasury report.
Okay, do we have oh, I'm sorry, I should have said, do we have a motion
Any
to
discussion?
accept it? Yeah.
I second it.
Okay, Cheryl. I don't know who first it.
Kathy.
Kathy did.
Oh, Kathy. Okay. And we have approval. Yay. Anybody nay? Going once, going twice. All right. Old business.
Who was the second? Who was
Cheryl
the second?
Cheryl.
Cheryl. Oh, that's right. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Yeah, here in a little bit. Let me get old business out of the way. That's about the old mill, and that we have guest speakers, Christy and Tiffany are going to bring us up to date on that. So we won't waste any time on that. And new business. And I know what the new business is, but Christy, since Tiff can't or Bethany can't talk, you want to fill us in, and we need to, if we all agree, we'll make a motion, and then we'll bring it to the head next month. So go ahead, Christy, you have the floor.
Yeah. So Bethany and I would like to ask if everyone would be okay with it as part of officers, if we could swap roles. So I would take the treasury role and Bethany would take the secretary role. It kind of puts both of us back into our wheelhouse. I hate taking notes. I'm not good at it at all. Bethany does a wonderful job with that. And, you know, with my background, the money, treasury, and that hopefully will help both of us out along with the club. So that's what we're asking. We would obviously need to take a motion, make sure there was no issues with it. We're still officers. It's just flipping roles.
Okay, so this would be the discussion, Tom. Does anybody have any discussion about that change of role play there?
I
Nobody?
think it is an absolute great fit for both ladies
Me
involved.
too. Me
Benefit them.
too. When they brought that to me yesterday or today, it's been, I don't know, it's been a long 2 days, but I was like, how perfect. And I commend both of you guys for coming up with this and, taking it upon yourself to get it changed and making you happy. So thank you for doing that. And, do we have a motion, I guess, to accept this?
I'll make a
Tiff?
motion.
Okay,
I'll
Tiff?
second it.
All right. Amy, because I saw Sue, but then you highlighted yourself. So, Amy seconded and, everybody approve, yay?
Yay.
Yes.
And no nays? Perfect. All right, so the only thing that I have in new business, and then we'll let the girls have the floor, is you'll hear through this presentation about donations, and us women need to think about, they need full body suits, and we just found them thanks to Kathy, for less than $40. So I think we could get quite a few of them, sponsored by the women's group. And I'm going to throw it out there. I think at the least we ought to donate as $500, and we can turn that into suits, or we can give them the money and they can do it however they decide they would like it. That's what we can do if everybody now, Debbie, yes, again. Debbie just wrote me, so okay. She's not answering me. So so we need to see how the group would want to, well, I don't know, Christy, Tiffany, how would you rather have it? Would you rather have it in money, or would you rather us buy the suits and have them shipped to you? Or I'm kind of stepping over, I guess. Maybe you guys don't want to do suits. So
Yeah, I think Tiffany would agree too. Right now, our weakest area is suits. We have the camp coming up at the end of June. They are going to be older kids, OMC. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what all suits we do have. We have some youth sizes. Some people have donated just jackets. So we
Right.
need pants. We got a wonderful donation from H&M Motors here in Weston.
Oh,
We're going to
nice.
use some of that money to purchase some suits, and I'm curious the brand that Royal King has, because whenever I was at Bearsville, when I was at Bearsville B the last time, they had full cloth, not ventilated bee jackets for $30 that they were giving
Okay.
for the apiary at the mill. So I got several of them for that, because I was like, they're not going to be in them all day. They don't need to be
Right.
ventilated. They're kids.
Yep.
They, they thrive.
Mhm.
They're
Well,
okay. They're not like us and,
me-
sweat
me
like crazy.
personally, yeah, me personally, I would rather shop local than, franchise. So, and if everybody agrees with that, we will go follow suit. And if we do the suits, then we'll get them from Bearsville. Do what?
Sorry. You said follow suit. We're talking
I
about
know.
suits.
I did too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
missed that one. And yeah. So
I live with boys. Okay.
yes, you do. Yes, you do. So however, do we need to take a vote, or, how we've got
Yeah.
to get to the
Yeah,
money,
vote on the-
or to buy suits from Bearsville and have them shipped to Christy, or Christy goes up and picks them up, however
Yeah.
you guys want to do that.
I'm
I'm
also
also-
going to
I'm
field
also-
day this coming weekend.
Mhm.
In Elizabeth, Bearsville's going to be there. They're auctioning or taking a raffle. I can't remember the verbiage there. Somebody can correct me. Anyway,
Okay.
everything they make from that goes to Apiary at the mill.
Yes.
They're doing pre-orders and things like that. So Christy's camping this weekend, so I'm going to head to Elizabeth Saturday morning,
Okay.
which is about a 2-hour drive for me both ways.
Tiffany, I'll talk to you afterwards if you want to ride with my parents and they're
Oh,
going.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
They've been there
good.
before. Yeah.
Perfect. Good deal.
Yeah. And we can, what I would do now is take a motion if you guys want a budget for that donation. And then
Yes.
maybe when Tiffany's there, she can talk to
Yes.
Bob to find out, how, is it best, they do
Right.
an online
Which way we
thing.
should go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know
Yeah.
that they're doing a lot of pricing for apiary at the mill. So like if people call them and say, hey, we're donating this to the apiary at the mill, they have like a specific
Okay.
price thing for those items too. So yeah, once we get what the donation is, then Tiffany can talk with them this weekend to see what we can do.
Okay, so what do you guys, you heard our budget and, we should have more coming in, because remember, we have to plan for the retreat as well. So we'll have to, make sure we have enough money to be able to buy food and all that, the crafts and things. So, what's your thoughts? Spit it out because we need to have it. Go ahead, Emily. No. Yep. Nope.
Christy,
Okay.
what do you think? As far
You're
as the
breaking up,
budget?
Bethany.
Christy, what do you think as far as our budget? Knowing, having a better grasp on what we need.
Yeah. I think the 500 is good. I think that
We can do
leaves
that.
1,000. You still have a lot of dues that we haven't collected, based on what we had last year versus this year. The retreat, I know that I was trying to look at what we spent on the retreat last year. We really didn't spend a lot last year on the retreat either.
Mhm.
So, I think the
We can do
500
it.
would be
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
All right.
And if you want to
Very
start
good.
off with just 250 at first, since the suits are cheap, and then hold the rest for another time. If you just in the minutes, if we just say we want to do a max donation of 500, it's not that we have to spend it all right now.
Okay.
We would
Let's do that.
budget for that,
That's good to know.
and then buy the few that we need now, and then maybe reserve some of the other for something
Anything
later,
else that
or-
pops up? Mhm.
Yeah, like you may even want to say, we're going to do 250 in bee suits now, but that other 250 that we have, does the Women's Bee Club want to donate, a beginner beekeeper to raffle off to the kids who took a class at camp?
Right.
Something like that.
Perfect.
So it's not that we have to spend the whole $500. You're just budgeting for it now.
Right.
And
All
How
right,
much
so
is it for the?
I make a motion to budget $500 towards the apiary at the mills,
Okay.
particularly since it's supporting West Virginia beekeeping for all and youth education.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Barb, you were going to say something, but you were muted, so we didn't hear you. Did you want to say it again? Or?
Okay, I'll second that motion, so
Oops.
we can at least get that done.
Okay. Okay. All right. And I like that, Chrissy. I like that, because
Who's
we will
frozen
have,
and who's not?
we will
I was
have,
wondering-
money coming in because people are still saying they want to come to the retreat and they haven't paid yet. So, yeah.
I was wondering if you want to make a personal donation, how do you go about doing that?
Well,
To the
what-
mill.
okay. But another thing Christy was talking to us about is that, we can, say we're going to donate 500, but then the women can give $5 each and then help to, and we can give beyond that. So we can do a flat fee of 500 and to donate, and then in our women's group, with however Christy sets up our payments, we can donate $5 each. So it could be more than, like if we would do that per person that is a member, we would get a hell of a lot of money for the mill.
Yeah. Yeah. So Barb, there's two ways, like exactly like what Phyllis says. If the club wanted to say, if you want to make a personal donation, when you send it to the club, you would just say, this is for the apiary at the mill, kind of like state dues. then
Yes.
we would send that money to the apiary at the mill. That's probably the easiest way. I did have a PayPal thing open, but I've shut it down, and because I'm in the middle of doing the same thing we did with women beekeepers, of trying to get apiary at the mill set up as an association for tax exemption and all of that stuff too. But we're not there yet. So the easiest is going to be going through women's right now.
Well, I was gonna say that if the address, I would be writing a check, so I would need like an address or something.
Yep.
Well, I
Yeah, and
guess
since
now
we're-
we send it to you, Christy, right?
Yes, and I
Okay.
will post that out on our site, the new address to send all of that to. And Bethany and I will work together in switching, all of the other stuff that needs to be here. But
Okay.
it's not like she doesn't live that far from me too. So if you send it to Bethany, she'll get it to you. It's all right.
Right, right.
Yep.
And, well, you could probably do it over your phone, right, Bethany? If you would get it, then you could just deposit it from your phone.
yeah.
And, yeah, do it that way. You
Well,
wouldn't have to send it to
If it would
Christy.
be, Christy, how would you want it made out to you well, I'm sorry if I missed that part of the
Yeah, no,
conversation.
they can to women beekeepers in West Virginia still, and we will pin it in our finances to pay it
I
like
can
we
just
do the
include
state.
like a post-it or
Yeah, I
write in
can-
their memo
Right.
that like, this is for dues and this is for
Right.
apiary at the mill or however they want to break it up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can deposit.
Yep.
Yes, I thought so. I thought so. Okay, yeah, so if you only have Bethany's address until we get it there and you want it to go out tomorrow, then, feel free. Bethany can deposit it and take care of it. And then Christy, I know you have thousands of jobs being a mom, teacher, and running everything, but if you could do like a small post on women's and give your address and tell
Yes.
them kind of what we decided, and
Yes.
and then if they would like to, I mean, they can do more than 5, whatever. But we thought 5 would be the least and easiest for people to just throw a $5 bill to them. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So we've already agreed to that, and so we don't have to wait until June, right, Christy? Because nothing's changed. We could act on this now because everybody agreed. Is that okay? All right. So get your pocketbooks. And get the money now. So okay, well, that's all I have for the meeting. The next meeting is June 20th at 7:30 here. Same link, same time. And I call this meeting to bring it adjourn. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a
Come
motion.
on. Tiff, second. I'm going to start picking. Barb seconds it. Okay. So any discussions that we left out anything, or you guys agree to adjourn? Yay? Okay. All right. You guys have the floor. So you need to share. I don't know what that was, Virginia, but
I got the mask.
it's a what?
The mask. The
Oh,
full
okay. Well, we're doing
mask.
B chat. We're doing B chat app. This was club meeting, and we're doing a
Oh.
presentation, and then B chat is following when the presentation's over in the top. So how do you
Well, that's why I couldn't get in. That's why.
no,
That's why I
no,
couldn't figure it out.
it's the same link. I don't know why you couldn't get in. But do I need to make you, Christy, are you going to present something, or do you need
I have some pictures and a couple other things to show too. So I think I can do.
do I make you co-host?
I think so.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so what Christy's setting up there for the Virginia, and I think Emily got in okay. But
I think you made Virginia the co-host.
Yeah, you made
If you go
Virginia
to
the
the-
co-host, not Christy.
Right.
Oh, I did.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Virginia's going like, I'm not co-hosting.
Well, I clicked on, Debbie, will you let Angie in? Christy, there it is. I got
No,
her.
because I'm not host anymore.
Oh, okay.
Christy's co-host now. We're all good.
Yeah, now I can
Okay.
share my screen.
You can co-host me too.
Oh, I can do multiple?
Mhm.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Where are you? Okay, Deb.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so sorry, this might be a little jumbled.
That's okay.
Okay, so some of you may have seen, may not have seen, where's the picture I just had up? And then when I shared my screen, it's gone. Oh, there it is. So some of you may have see our Facebook post or Facebook page. If you're not a member of it, it's called Apiary at the Mill. I'm trying to keep updates on there as we do items or as we have new sponsors, things that's happening. There are pictures on there. But what I wanted to give was kind of an update. I did it again. Of some things that are going to be happening. Some things moved really fast for Tiffany and I, and then which is exciting, but still a little overwhelming. So obviously help is going to be much appreciated. So this is the cabin that they're letting us use. And this is one that was built on the backyard barns or whatever that building thing is on TV that they came and built it. And they did use wood from the mill, from trees that had fell. So this is the front of it, and it's really, really cute. I just fell in love with it as soon as they showed it to us. So I'm not a decorator. That's not me at all. But, you know, when we have events or something, things on the front porch, kind of bee related. We'll need things inside bee related. We'll talk about pollination project also. But what's happening right now is we now have 2 hives. And Bearsville is, he just tells me, call me up when you need something, I'll have it ready for you. And it was a blessing having Mary right there in Marietta, because when I'd go visit her, I'd stop by and see Bearsville bees. So the Layens hive here on the right captured a swarm probably 2 weeks ago. Tiffany and I put it in maybe 2 weeks ago. And I've never dealt with this hive before. So that was a really new experience. I had no clue what I was doing because I'm still a little confused of how the bees go from frame
Let
to
me just say real quick that I didn't
Yeah.
either. So
yeah. So we're still learning on that one, which is good because we're educating ourselves while we're doing this. But it's a beautiful hive. I absolutely love that the Layens hive. And then this middle hive was the one that Kathy helped us obtain. It is now a double deep. And Kathy, we do have the box for you ready to bring back to you when we see you.
Yeah.
And this beautiful stone underneath of the hive was from one of the cabins that actually during the derecho that we had several years back, the cabin had a tree fall on it. They demolished the cabin instead of rebuilding it. They built another building there and they kept all the stone. And that's what we got for our hive stands. And Mike Shamblin, who comes from Clay County, and if you know him, he is wonderful. He built these for us. He has a lot of great ideas. And he has a lot of contacts because he works for the extension services. So that's really helpful to us as well. This hive on the left. So we were thinking we would get 2 hives this year at the cabin. We're going to have 3 because I got a lot of swarms and I'm ready to move another one into this 3rd box over here as well. And you notice the variation. The white box is an 8 frame. The stained box in the middle is a 10 frame. And then we have the Layens frame. So a lot of variation for the kids to see. And like I said, this apiary at the mill is really going to show you a lot of what we're doing. I will keep up to date on all of our donors. Bearsville, obviously phenomenal, giving us any woodenware that we want. Jackson's Mill for the cabin. This here is either people who donated bees or money. Mark Lilly gave us a frame at conference. Women Beekeepers has given us not just, our time, but also hive tools. And I think we've got a jacket, a smoker. I mean, we've gotten several little small things that are inside the cabin to use as well. And Joy at Bearsville Bee got their frame and foundation supplier to donate 100 deep, I'm going to get this wrong, 100 deep frames and foundation and 100 medium frames and foundation. And I picked those up last time too. So Premier Bee Products, I've never used them before, but they did donate wonderfully to us. So we're very thankful for them as well. So again, that's just kind of the basics of the building, of the hives, of the bees, of lots of activity. So now we get into what's on our horizons right now. So right now it is just Tiffany and I doing the inspections and weed eating. Mike Shamblin has gotten a hold of, and Tiffany, what's the guy's name that's doing the pollinator garden?
Sheldon Owen.
Thank you. So Sheldon Owen, Mike Shamblin got a hold of him, or somebody got a hold of him to ask if he would do a pollinator garden help with this year of just doing a strip. And bear with me while I find the picture, ladies, because I got a bunch of pictures. So maybe this one. That is so not the picture. Okay, so this was before we put the hives there. I don't know if you can see my little mouse. Can you see my mouse moving? Yes. Okay, good. So the hives sit here. I wish I could draw. I'm going into teacher mode. And when we were talking about it, we were trying to figure out, okay, the mill people don't want to obviously mow right up against the hives because they're not familiar with the bees. So how could we, kind of put a barrier up so we know what we weed eat versus what they're going to mow? And had a great idea of putting just a strip, almost like a fencing of pollinator garden. And we mapped it out for Mike of how far out to go, so that way both us and the mill would have a barrier of who's maintaining what around the bees. And I believe next week that gentleman is coming and going to help with that. Planning that, doing something with it, not really sure, because we also have, this is our view out the front porch and it's so beautiful. The mill person who's brought this up originally that I've been talking with for a couple of years would like to turn this whole primitive area into like a pollinator area, garden, something. And that's out of my wheelhouse. I am not that person. And Tiffany has done a lot of gardening stuff, but our focus is the apiary. So that's where this Sheldon guy is going to hopefully help us plan this. They want to plant, the mill would like to plant trees, mason bee areas. I mean, there's just so much this person would love to do that it's beyond what us small, even the women beekeeper small group can do. So we have, if you've ever been to the mill, the primitive area is huge. It's a lot of area to cover. That's what they're going to be planning. And I think that whenever he comes, we'll probably be talking about the long-term plan for the pollinator garden as well, and the area as well. Okay, so what we've done, as I've been talking with lots of people between either the women's group, other bee people at the conference, Tiffany and I, Mike and I, the mill, I've kind of come up with phases, and they're not in succession. So our main goal this year was to get something up and running for camp, for youth education. And we are lucky enough right now, I think, to do 2, potentially 3 camps. The first camp is going to be at the end of June. I can't remember when it is. Mary's a camper there. So it's OMC is going to be larger. Now we have those 2 hives for sure, potentially 3. That's where the suits are going to come into play. I think we have all other equipment for that, even the training hive that has the pictures on the frames. And on our to-do list is, I think, Phyllis, Tiffany, myself, Deb, Bethany need to get together and figure out what the classes are going to cover. Right now there will be 4 days of 1-hour classes at OMC with the same kids all 4 days. That's how OMC is going to run. And Alpha 1, which I think me and Mary can cover, is just going to be informational sessions. It's like 3 days, 1-hour sessions, different kids, all 3 sessions. So it's going to be kind of a informative to hopefully get kids interested in maybe, just exploring what beekeeping is. and they would send no more than 12 kids per each of those sessions. And then Alpha 2, and I think that's Phyllis, the one that I think it's Alpha 2, the one that you have, would kind of run the same as OMC with the same kids, 4 days, 1 hour classes. So we've got to come up with the lessons for that, and any handout or any crafts or any, kind of hands-on stuff. Because if you've dealt with teenagers, they deal with 15-second TikToks. So they're not, their attention span is not 1 hour long, that's for sure. So we got to get something to keep them active. So that was originally phase 1, and it has morphed because of all of our donors and how blessed we are to have people just saying, we want to get this up and running. So the main primitive cabin that we have, before we can do any kind of demonstrations of honey or even wax, my personal opinion, there's cracks in this building on the wall because it is primitive. So those kind of need sealed. And we are talking about, this has changed. We are going to do hopefully a work day with a couple of people who build stuff with wood to build benches and some tables that have the tops that flip up and move out of the way because it's not that big inside. So if anyone is good at woodworking, reach out to Tiffany and I so that we can put you on our list of helping out whenever we decide when we're going to work on those. The flowers around the building, Sheldon is going to help us with that. We've got the 1 to 2 hives. We will have signage. Tiffany and I were talking, we really need to get the signage up. I have one sign up right now that is at the front of the building that I just made. I don't know if you can see that. I just made at my house with my vinyl cutting machine because we needed to put something up. But there's 3, am I right, Tiffany? There's 3 different directions people can come towards this area. And obviously this is vinyl, this is down on the ground. So we need to think of, in the primitive area, it's a lot of wood, of getting some signage made. So I'm trying to get a hold of the Jacksonville guy to see, hey, can you guys get these signs made to caution people? But we also thought we need signs to put up when we're doing actual inspections, because people are going to be curious of what we're doing and we don't want them to get too close. People walk here all the time. Every time
We had that just the very last time we were there.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we need to come up with some kind of thought of a sign that says, be inspection in process. We don't care if you watch from a distance, but just be forewarned that, they have their own defense mechanisms built into their butts, something, I don't know. But, something to warn them, because people, and we want them to be curious. We want them to ask questions and not be fearful, but we also want to warn them, just.
And be
not-
safe.
Yes. Signage around the area, that's more of like the pollinators, honeybee facts, all of that stuff that's going on. We do need totes. I don't know if anyone has totes that they're no longer using or knows of a good deal, but these bee suits that we're getting donated, we don't want to just store them in the wooden cabin for bugs to get into. So we do need to come up with some storage for those so that we can keep them in there as well.
Can I add to that real quick before we move on?
Yep.
For those totes, we do need to settle on maybe like a size reference because those come in all shapes and sizes. And if we do plan to put those in the benches,
Yes. So we will have to figure out the width.
like
of
a
the bench.
standard,
Yep.
the one that I got, I think is the standard that we took. I think those were 19 inches wide, but I'm not certain.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to put that on here because I will
The
forget.
picture goes a long way, girls, if you can post and even a link. to
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, we will. And we're going to probably use the one that Tiffany brought as our prototype for benches. So that, that will probably be one that we do find a link and say that we need these onto there just to protect our stuff. Anything that was phase 1 and it's moved so quickly. It was literally Kathy wrote me and said, I have somebody that's going to give you bees. The weather wasn't the best for Kathy, probably 2, 3, 4 weeks after you wrote me.
Yep.
And then when I told Kathy, I was like, hey, I think, we've got the hive, we've got this. And since then, since Kathy and Tiffany met in their middle location and brought them there, we've been doing something at the mill pretty much every week, every weekend, trying to get it up and going. And now we have bees, which is great. So phase one went really quick. There's still some work to be doing, but we'll move these phases around. After that, these are going to be more for like the future plans. Tiffany mentioned earlier this weekend at Elizabeth at the event that they're having, and I can't remember what they called it now. They called it something, but
Field day.
thank you. Field day. Bob contacted me and said from Bearsville Bees and said, hey, we're going to be making some stuff to raffle off there, and 100% of the donations for that raffle we are giving to the Apiary at the Bill. I cannot say how much we are so thankful for Bearsville, and they're just phenomenal. They're going to come hopefully next year and build us observation hives, act physically in our cabin. This year it's a little too much to take on with everything else that we're doing. So they're just phenomenal. So if you're at the field day, check out what they're raffling off. Like I said, 100% of the donations goes to that. I won't go through the rest of the phases in much detail. The biggest thing I want to talk about, and I can take it off share now. How do I do that? Stop sharing. There we go. Okay. So the biggest thing I wanted to talk about is, Tiffany and I haven't even had time to talk about this. If you know about Jackson's Mill and you've grown up in the area or you've been to the area, Jackson's Mill Jubilee is the probably the #1 event that the mill has in the summertime. Camps, yes, but that's not open to the general public, but the Jubilee is. It used to be 50 to 60,000 people would come to that every year. And it has depleted in the years, and we don't know what COVID's done to it. And again, if you're familiar with the mill, it used to be all on the grounds, and now it's not. Now it's more up towards the barn and less down towards the primitive area, which is where our cabin is. So I'm working with a plan with the Jubilee people and Jackson's Mill to find out some ideas that we have, because I would like to be able to spend that weekend at our cabin doing some demonstrations. That's what I remember of the Jubilee. Tiffany grew up around the area too. It was a lot of, this is how they used to do it, or, teaching people about how to do things. Vendors are there, crafting is there, there's lots of food there. It was just a phenomenal event. And now that we have this close to the old grist mill, I'm trying to work with them to say, hey, if we do demonstrations and are we able to extract honey, can we extract honey? And then the grist mill wanted to do their cornmeal and actually show them how they do that, kind of give some people some demonstration of some artisans and some hobbies and, all the stuff that's going on down there. So my thought was, because this is not going to pull people in down to our area, but we could absolutely make this kind of just a weekend of bee chat for not just, I don't want to just exclude it into saying women, because it can be from every area, but we have enough space that we could put up canopies. We could sit around, we could, even something I threw out to the Jackson or the Jubilee person was, we could have our own little cookout down there. And how we have the retreat, a lot of people I heard, it's like, I just don't feel like we can just sit down and have time to just chat with everybody and not be worried about, oh, I'm not on time to go to the next event that we have. So we could kind of turn it into just sit and talk about bees, or sit and talk and get to know people that you see on, the virtual Zoom, and kind of, make it a weekend of just sit back and relax. And it is Labor Day weekend. I know that's a holiday for some people, but that's kind of what we're throwing around right now. So if you don't have plans, pencil that in. Central West Virginia and Jackson's Mill, it's a little off the beaten path, but at least we are in Central West Virginia. You can go to the Jubilee. Last year was like a $5 entry fee to get into the Jubilee. I don't know what it'll be this year, because I don't know after COVID what's happening, but they have, like I said, crafting. They have a lot of vendors. They have a lot of stuff going on there. A lot of bluegrass music happens in the barn. I'm trying to get a list of all the events that they're going to have to see what the draw is going to be for this year. But I think, like I said, we could kind of make it like a Beekeepers day, mainly the Saturday, because, people work on Friday, and then Sunday they close, I think, at 3. So I'm trying to make Saturday be the day at the apiary. And then that way, everyone who wants to be there can actually see the cabin and see the things that we've set up. And maybe talk about some ideas of some future events that can happen there as well. Just kind of the plan for this summer is not to overdo it ourselves. Hopefully pull in some other ideas and some help with that as well.
Well, that'll be a good timing too, because then the camps will be behind us and we can say this worked and this did not work. So what can we do? And we'll have
Absolutely.
that all day to talk about that. So
Yes.
I'll be there all day Saturday.
Yep.
Rain or shine, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
it
right.
is. Yeah. Tiffany and I did get, again, if you went to the Jubilee years ago, there was a bee beard man there. And he has since passed away, but his son, I think Tiffany, we got the son's name.
Yes, I'm
And-
gonna try to reach out to him and see maybe if I can get him to come. And if he's not willing to, but even if he has anything of his dad's or his that we could display either permanently or just for the Jubilee or for certain times, anything like that would be amazing. I got that from Charlie Metz.
Nice.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that.
I would really
I also
like
have
to-
a few pictures from him.
Yeah.
He had the first top bar hive ever here.
Wow.
So
and that's another thing, like of if you have some older beekeeping pictures that we can either send to us electronically, we can put them up on canvases inside the cabin to kind of show the history of beekeeping as well. Any of those ideas, any old tools that anyone would like to part with, we could put into there. My uncle had a old smoker. I'm trying to see if he still has it, because I mean they look the same, but they don't look the same.
Right.
So kind of thoughts with that as well. But I thought of that at the Jubilee. That was really a crowd puller, was the bee beard. Everybody wanted to see that. And I want to say it was Bob Spencer from Bearsville that said he could even do a canopy that was screened in and do an actual full-blown inspection for
Right.
people to come and watch from the side, which I thought was great. And he was just like, you just tell me where to be and when, and I'll be there.
Nice.
So, and I when I talked to the Jubilee people, I was like, I'd like for him to bring his stuff because he's done so much for us, and don't charge him the vendor fee. So that's
Right.
what I'm hoping they work with me on that.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
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 That's cool.
Tiffany, anything else or any other questions, or Tiffany, things that I've missed? Like we said, we will need help if you're close in the area, weed eating, inspection, schedules, stuff like that. And
Well, that's just I would suggest that if you have a work day, like cutting grass or inspecting your bees, and well, that one you may not want too many hands in the hive, but cleaning the cabin, cleaning the windows. If you have a day like that, then post it on Women's, and so we know, like two weeks ahead of time. Because if me personally, if I don't have family baby stuff, then I can work my beehives to have that day off. So yeah, but I have to know like 2 weeks ahead of time. So if you have your schedule, then post it on Women's, and then we can hopefully get a few of us out there to give you a hand to lighten
I'm
up the
great at
burden
weed
a
eating.
little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to put together, and my, I have like a week and a half left of school. So especially once school's done, then I can definitely
Sure.
put together, I want to put together something in June of kind of like an open house for like the media. So I definitely will be posting that once I get a date with the mill of when is a good day to do that. And obviously anybody who would like to come would come to that as well. It's not a
Well, if
business
you
open
need it-
house, but it is that.
Yeah. If you need it cleaned before that, then think about that. So
It's pretty clean inside.
oh, okay.
It was
they've really never
unused.
used it for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we could spend probably less than 10 minutes with a broom and be
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
pretty much pretty okay. We have
That's
some
wonderful.
organizing we could do in there, but that's really not a
Not
multiple
yet.
person job.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
What would be good for that day though is like ideas. Like we obviously have all those frames. So it has an open ceiling style. So is there things that we can build where you hang, utilizing
Yes.
as much space as we can?
Mhm.
And I hate to say it, I've got so many people calling me saying I've got bees that we might be building the outyard this year too.
Yeah.
Over on the
Yeah.
airstrip, which I'm fine with.
Definitely.
I'm 100% fine with. Then we would definitely need more help because we would want to put up a fence to keep the cows out in case they get loose
Right.
Right.
across the
Right.
side, and then obviously putting the actual hives together. So we will try, like I said, I have a week and a half left of school, and we'll try to pin that date down, give everybody a couple weeks to plan it.
Okay. Well, I know a young man that I mentor, he definitely wants to give a hive. He's real big into 4-H here in Randolph.
Okay.
So him in mind. And
Okay.
I can bring them in June when I come, I'm sure. So,
Okay. Now for the outyard, I won't use that pretty stone. I'll probably just use cinder
Right.
blocks for the hive stands because I have tons of cinder block that somebody's donated to us.
Nice.
So like I said, the outyard is ready. Mike Shamblin thought when Tiffany and I first said we got to put an electric fence up over there on the airstrip, he was like, why do you need that? We don't, they monitor the bears. They haven't had any. We were like, it's more the cows that could get loose from the farm beside of it. And he was like, I think maybe just a regular barrier fence of wooden. So I've asked them though if they have any leftover wood to make a fence,
Oh, yeah.
utilizing them as
Yeah.
much as possible. So
Mhm.
maybe that's
That
even
would be
something
cool.
in June.
Like a
Yeah.
cemetery.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully maybe by June we will have an answer, and it's just going to be a fence building day too. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. We can all do that.
Tiffany,
Mhm.
anything you want to add? Sorry, I spoke a lot. I could talk about this.
No,
forever.
you're fine. We discussed pretty much everything that you have on your face there. I mean, we did that weeks ago, so I don't know that I do right off. I do want to say though, we had talked about this a little bit last week. You weren't in chat last week, I don't think, and I didn't want to talk about a ton of stuff. I knew we were having this meeting today, but something that came up last time was grants. And Christy and I have scoured and looked and looked and looked, and we really missed out on a lot of grants. But we also, at that point in time, were not ready to even think about a grant at the time. Honestly, when we approached the mill, we thought this was going to be like a much slower process, and it wasn't at all. So I have a small list of grants that when fall hits, actually, I think the first one I can write is in July. Then we'll start those for like the 2023, 2024. But if anybody knows of any other grants or anything like that they want to send a link to, or any information, even if we already have it, send it. If you find something, send it. We'll
I
write.
know that the WBBA, the West Virginia Beekeepers Association, I think their deadline is December.
Right.
So,
End of
and
year.
that's $1,000, up to $1,000.
Yeah.
And I know Amy had something last week and she's got her hand raised.
Yeah,
Yes.
she does.
Well, it's
Go
not
ahead,
about the
Amy.
grants, so continue what you're saying. I'll chime in after.
That I was just that's all I was really throwing out there. I just wanted to touch base on that again real quick while everybody was here together.
Well, I think what you girls are doing is phenomenal. It's wonderful. My question is in regards to if you want to be part of the camps and assist with teaching or helping or whatever is needed. At one point, I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, was there like a background security thing that needed to be done?
Yes.
So is that a very time consuming, not filling out the
it's not
paperwork?
a time
I'm saying
consuming to do it.
not
It's
not to do it, to get it back. So like if you want to be a part of it, are you already too late this year? Do you need to do it ASAP?
no, probably not,
or-
but I would do it sooner than later.
I have the email, Amy, if I can send it to you. I'd send
Would
it
you
to
mind?
Debbie. Debbie, did you get
I-
yours in? Yes? Yeah.
And anybody who has finished that, thank you, Phyllis. I was going to ask you if you still have the email because I can't find it.
Okay.
Phyllis can get you the email to do that. And I'm going to call it the first section of the volunteer to help out at camps. So get with Phyllis, and then when you complete it, you should get a certificate or something at the end, or an email. If you can send that to me. I'm working with the director of camp, and he can get them for me, but it's quicker if you guys just tell me, hey, I'm done.
Okay,
And then
I'll
that
send
way
you
we
mine.
have
That
it.
would be great.
I'll send you
And-
mine.
Okay.
Okay, and then the second portion is the question is, if you say, Christy or Tiffany, you put out an email and say, hey, we could use help at either inspections or cleaning or whatever, do you need to have your certificates just to come down and help for that?
No, and that's where I'm going to call it the 2 phases. So there's,
Okay.
if you're just coming to do an inspection and no children are present, you don't have to have anything. You're good. Now, if there's a camp going on and there are kids in a cabin, then they may just ask you to wait until like later in the evening, because then that way the kids aren't out and about. If you're going to be if you're going to be at a camp and you're not staying as a full-time counselor, which is what most of us will be doing, except for me, because I'm the 4-H mom, then you're going to do the first level verification, which is what Phyllis has. And that's all online. You go through the training. I think you take a test and then you get your certificate. And then they do all the background checks and all of that on you as a first layer. If you're going to come and be a full-time counselor, meaning you're staying overnight, and yes, they do need that for some of the camps, then they do a higher level background check. And I told them that would probably be next year, that some of our other members might be interested in doing that, especially if we get to the point where we're doing 3 classes a day with different kids, because there's 3 sections of classes a day. We're only doing 1 class 4 days a week for these camps. So we'll get to the point where maybe we have to spend the night. I'm doing my county camp, but I'm always 100% vetted counselor anyway, because I sometimes stay with them. So I've already done that piece. I think is it 3 or 5 years, Phyllis, that's good for? I cannot remember.
I don't remember either, but
It's multi-year. I know that.
Who do we send that to? Because I think this time in my time in July, which I got to get with you for the date, but I think I want to be, full-time counselor. So
Okay. Yeah. So I gave Jason the names of the people that I knew, like Tiffany and me, Mary, and you. And
okay.
I want to say I'm meeting with him next week. And I told him, I think, can you check on mine? Because I don't know if mine's,
I was at that. Mine too. I know that I did it through Master Gardeners. I'm obviously not going to stay there. We discussed that. I'm not interested at all in doing that.
Not when you live 5 minutes down the road.
See if I'm good. If not, then I will
do
what I need to do.
Yep. And then Phyllis, I will ask him on yours as well.
Okay.
And
well, I'll send you my certificate so you'll have it. And then the email that is her name Ellie or something like, it's a cute name. I can't remember, but she's from the WVU extension. And she sent me the email saying that my vetted was finished and congratulations, whatever.
Okay.
So I have that. I'll send you.
Now, Amy, there is something else too that I still think it's the first level of getting vetted I'd like to do like a youth, maybe just a Saturday event. And it doesn't just have to be people from our area. Like, is there a club and that, does the club in Morgantown want to have a little, field trip like we do as adults to come and see an apiary and do that? I'd like to at least get one of those planned. And then those people also, even though it's not a 4-H camp, you're still on extension grounds and you'd still have to be vetted, but that's still, again, the first level of vetting, which is the easy one online. I want to say it took me an hour.
One was Title IX and the other one was child abuse.
Yes. Thank you. I knew there was.
I don't even think it took an hour. Seriously.
Yeah.
No, I think it was 45 minutes total for both of them.
And that's filling out your paper and everything. So very easy. Yeah. They couldn't make it any easier unless they did it for you. So
I can send you both of those certificates. I don't have my letter stating that I was.
Certificates is fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have the background check, but I know I was background checked.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering that. That's great. Yes.
Any other questions? if you have thoughts, or ideas or donations, Tiffany and I, just reach out to us. I do have an Apiary, Gmail account. It's just, I'm real creative here. It's apiary@themill@gmail.com.
That's good.
You can email there, trying to keep track of everything that's on there. And like Tiffany said, we're really probably going to hit it hard with those grants. Just if I could show you all the phases, I think I'm up to like 5 phases. And when we talked to Mike Shamblin, this is not just a 1-year plan. This is going to take about 5 years probably to put everything in
Nice.
full force that we want. And I cannot, when we met Mike, he blew my mind away, and I had to go back and actually think for a couple days, like, oh crap, this is big. So and it just, every time we talk with people, it just gets bigger, and the stuff that we can do is amazing.
Well, and the shack itself, the cabin, they're going to hope to turn that into the store where they spin the honey there and bottle it and label it there, and dip candles. They can make dip candles and sell, and so it can be self-sufficient and run itself in the future. You guys could, it's endless.
That's actually a whole nother building.
Yeah, but there's a
That's
general
That's
store.
not even a picture. Yeah, that's a whole nother building.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Tiffany, remind me the next time we're there to get that picture.
Yes, I will.
And
Oh,
at the
okay.
Jubilee, that day in September for Labor Day weekend, if they give me the okay that we can sell stuff down at that cabin, obviously we won't have honey. We won't have any of that stuff there. So do we open up something like what we do at the retreat of the little, stores where people bring their own personal stuff that they've made and can sell it or display it there or show it there? So, that's another thing to think of as well. It's not just going to be, something that the apiary at the mill stuff. It could be a general store for the beekeepers to show their
for this
products.
first year. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
One last thing, if you don't mind, Christy, can you post the dates of the camps? So, I'll go ahead and fill out the application, and that way I have it. And then if I'm available, as anybody else, the same, can say, well, we need 10 people for group 1, we need 10 people for June, we need 10 people for July, and then kind of do like, people can check their schedules to see
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you have
point.
time. If you wouldn't mind making, your address for donations,
Yep.
the dates, and the link from Phyllis would be most helpful and appreciated.
Yep. I'm
Mhm.
making myself a note
And
now.
all your spare time.
Yeah.
No rush.
Yeah. Making my notes. Okay.
Well, and this is recorded, so you could always go to the end of it and where you're making your notes if you don't get them made.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions? Sorry, I took up a lot of time.
No, this is what we wanted. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is phenomenal. One, that the mill is giving us the space that they have given us. And
Kind of free
honestly,
range. Mhm.
yeah, one of the maintenance workers, I now have a key, thank goodness for the cabin. Thanks to Tiffany for picking it up. But the maintenance guy, the last time I went there and saw him, I have to call and they have to come and meet me there. And he goes, I don't know what kind of pool you have, but we were told from the director of the grounds that when you guys call, do whatever you need. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
nice.
I like this.
And that's true. I've had to call twice, and they are like, "Hey, blah 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 blah, blah," like on it.
Yeah.
On it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
it-
amazing.
yeah. And the waiver right now is going through the Extension Services legal team. So I'm hoping to have that back so that we have those for camps. We can kind of look at them, make sure we don't want to add anything that, just for clarity of, safety with that. And I have a little box that's going to be kept in the cabin to keep those waivers on file.
Mhm.
Tiffany got our local health department, and discussed with them the EpiPen. So
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
yes,
I got 2. I got a double pack for adults and a double pack for I don't know if it's 12 and under or 10 and under. It's listed on the box, but so we've got 4 of those. And
Nice, nice.
I still need to meet with her because she also put together a very nice large first aid kit for us as well.
Nice.
Nice.
So I want to make sure we
perfect.
put out a thank you for them as well.
And they will
Absolutely.
also refill our EpiPens, even if we don't use, if we use them, God forbid. we don't
Runs
do that.
out, yeah,
And they will, if they're expired, they will renew them
Yep.
for us as well.
nice. That's
The
perfect.
local fire department, I have 2 students that are in that fire department, and I've talked to them saying, hey, if there's an emergency, obviously that fire department would be the first one to be called because they are also a licensed EMT EMT place.
Mhm.
So I've asked him in the summertime if a couple of the gentlemen that are usually at there can come over and I can kind of talk with them so that, if they do have a call, that they're
Mhm.
not fearful
up.
of
Yeah.
what to do and what can they do and what can't they do and, what should they do. So a lot of support in
Nice.
the area. That's why I want to get it out there in the media.
Yep.
Can you add to your Amazon wish list 2 fire extinguishers? Might be a good idea to have one in the cabin and, and one in the box when you go to do inspections.
Yeah.
You never know, it's pretty dry. I
Good
don't
idea.
remember.
It's a very,
Very good
idea.
point. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, I am asking, you all know Larry and Marianne Sears. Is that their
Mhm.
last name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my mom and dad spent the weekend with them camping and they're like, we would love to make boxes and donate them, but we know Bearsville is donating all the woodenware. So they're like, what can we do? And I asked my mom to reach out to them and say, because they can do woodworking, to build us like one of those little care and share boxes that are outside where people open it up and they either put food or library books or something in it. So I thought that'd be good to put the logbook and a hive tool with maybe the smoker and stuff. So if, let's say Amy can come down one day and do an inspection, I have the key to the building, but this would be outside to where it's easily accessible for
Good
them. They
point.
could make the log. They wouldn't have to get into the building. And then,
Yeah.
it would be a lot more convenient. So I'm seeing if they have any ideas, but if you guys have any examples of something like that to show me, I'm sure we can get somebody to do something for us.
Oh, they'll do it. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She has made in the past, last year, actually, they did it for Hive Life, to donate. It was a kind of like looked like a hive, but it was like for tools.
Storage.
nice.
Yeah, it was
That would be
storage for
cute too.
tools,
Yeah.
but it looked
That would
like a
be
hive.
perfect.
It was so adorable.
Oh,
And
yay. Okay.
The situation with, I concur with Amy about the fire extinguishers. Shanda just told us at our meeting about the fire situation on inspection. So
I was
How
thinking
did-
of that whenever the fire ban was going on.
it wasn't her, but it was a circumstance at an apiary that was not well kept. The grass was very high. And they had a fire they put out, thought it was all good, and then there was one going on behind them that they had to take care of.
From their
And she
smoker?
Yes, she went through
Okay.
two two fire extinguishers.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was scary, I'm sure. Wow.
Yeah, she was scared.
Huh.
Well, yeah, different times of the year, things are dry. It's just always good to have on hand.
And don't be
Oh, that's
stupid
good
like
thinking.
me and put your smoker in your chip bucket. The whole thing
Oh,
caught on
no.
fire.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, that's just good
I've done-
safety to teach the kids anyway.
I can do that. I've done it twice. So yeah. Yeah. So,
Any
all
other
right, anybody
questions?
else have any questions? Then we'll head over to, I'll kick us off or record and we'll head this over to B chat.
and feel free to shoot us any ideas, any thoughts,
Absolutely.
anything that we're overlooking or missing. This area is going to be like the no drama, we want everybody, everyone keeps bees differently. So make suggestions.
Right.
We're
Mhm.
open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys
you.
very much. I'm so proud of you too. You're